Today we're going to be learning how to make an extrude, additional sketches, and a cut extrude. So to start, I'm just going to create a sketch. I'm going to do it on this face. Now I'm going to create a square. I'm going to say it's 8 by 8. A little bit so I can see it. So for this purpose, I'm just going to leave my sketch like that. So I'll finish it. And now I'm going to use the extrude tool. So this is the extrude tool right here. As you notice, it automatically picked up my closed section because I only had one closed section, and it's the thing that I had used last. So it assumed that that's what I wanted to extrude. So now I can come into the extrude. So I have profiles. I'll say the profile is a closed section. So this square that I had sketched is a profile. If I had more, then they could be individual profiles and selected individually on what you wanted to actually extrude. So so by default it's from the sketch plane. If we had other faces that we wanted to extrude it from, we could do that. For the most part, you're going to just leave it as the sketch plane until you get more advanced. So now direction, like right now it's coming out this way. You can see with the arrow. If I click the opposite way, it goes the opposite way. This symmetric means that it goes both, and you can see the line in the middle. That's actually the sketch plane, so it goes half out this way and half out this way. And then this one is asymmetric, which means it will go farther in one direction than the other, if need be. I'm just going to use the simple single direction. And then for the distance, I can either do 2 next, or if I can select the surface to go to, or I can type in a dimension. So I'm going to type in a dimension, do 8 to make a cube. So now that I have a cube, what happens when you want to make additional sketches? So you can start a new sketch just like you have before, but instead of seeing the 3 planes, they don't show up by default. You can still access them in the origin folder, and they are right here. Or you can actually put a sketch on a face of the part that you've already created. So I'm just going to do it on this face that's highlighted, click it, and now I'm creating a sketch on that face. So here I'm going to create another square. Let's say 4 by 4. Now I want this to be in the center, so I can either create a line in both directions that it's a construction line and use a symmetric mate, or I can just dimension it. Since this is the easy part and I already know what it should be, I'm going to just dimension it. And then as you may notice, so now you can see these yellow lines. So these yellow lines are projected geometry. So when you click on them, they'll have a little symbol like this. What that means is it pulled the edge off of this cube that I had already done and created a line that was perfectly even with it on my sketch. Then I can use it as a reference. Obviously, you can't use an edge directly. It has to create a line first. So while they're on here, you can just ignore them and use them as a reference. So now I have my sketch fully constrained, as you can see because of the white. The yellow is fine. I'm going to finish. Now I'm going to do another extrude. So I'm going to click here. And again, I only have a single profile on the last sketch I did. So it's going to default and think that that's what I want to extrude. So here we have a few more options than we did before. So we have, right now we have the extrusion coming out just like we did before. But we're going to do something a little bit different. So all of the same of these top four are the same thing. The difference is you also have this through all and this to next. So what we're going to do instead of an extrusion. So under this output, this boolean, so the first one is to join. So it creates another extrusion and then joins them together like they're one single part. The next is cut. And what that does, it will actually cut into the material. Um, and you can change the depth, which we'll go back to this in a sec. And then there's intersection, which the intersection is basically as it cuts through what things are overlapping, and we'll only keep what's overlapping. And then there's new solid. So new solid and join are very similar. The only difference is instead of actually creating it to where it's like one solid part, it'll create it to be like two pieces that are just touching each other. So we're going to go back to cut. And now, as we go into this, we can look at the cut itself. Like right now it's going through all because it is 8 inches. I could change that to say 4 inches. And now you can see that it only goes halfway. So that's how you can change the dimension. If you do this through all, it will go and it will go through the entire part. No matter how many sections of parts you have over here, it will continue to go through all of them. You could do the 2, and then there you would select a face. So now it would extrude up to here, and if you had something else over here, it would not continue on. We're just going to use the through all in this case to make a full hole in our cube. I click OK, and there is our part.